The games for years have been hovering around the 40 to 50 range, with 2K22 just eking over with 51.92 gigabytes on my computer. 79.67 gigabytes. 2K23, what are you doing? That is way too much space to be taking my hard drive. I know I'm spending a lot of time here, like, just talking about specs, but the only other game I've got installed that's bigger is the Master Chief Collection, and that's like 4 or 5 games. I haven't launched it yet at the time of recording this. Okay, but onto the game itself. Now, the game, pretty good, once again. Now, I admittedly have spent far less time with this than I did with 2K22. Oh, just look at those numbers, amateur hour. But I'd like to think that I've spent enough time now with 2K23 to say that I can generally give it a good rundown. Honestly, if you enjoyed 2K22 and you wondered about moving to 2K23, it's a perfectly good upgrade. Visually, the game has definitely seen an upgrade. In fact, now you can even choose the model quality to choose these higher quality ones, and yeah, there's a very noticeable improvement with the models, honestly. Now, I don't know for certain, but the controls to me generally felt similar enough to 2K22 that I can generally go back and forth without too much issue. My one gripe is, like, with reversals, I'm used now to the Y button appearing, like, overhead. That's how, like, 99% of the moves are, you know. It appears overhead, you know when to mash it. You won't get it the first few times, but yeah, once you get the timing down, you're pretty much dead on to getting it a lot of the time. But then, you know, sometimes the moves will pop the Y button down at the bottom of the screen, and it's like, no, you can't do that. I've been trained all my life to focus on the top of my character's head. You can't make me suddenly switch to that. Half the time when that happens, I don't notice it because my eyes are trained somewhere else on the screen. Of course, with 2K23 came the inclusion of the WARGAMES match, and oh, that was a much needed inclusion. I love when the wrestling games start bringing in these major gameplay modes, and to have WARGAMES show up is a pretty big deal. Honestly, I'm really glad to see it added in, and overall, I'd say it worked pretty well. Like, I had fun with it at least. Overall, 2K23 I'd say is another recommendation for me, because again, it just gives me everything that I'd look for in one of these wrestling games.